fancy. I'll have some G3 bounties ready for you by the time you get back.
Sure, sounds good. Thanks, Gene.
High on Life delivers on what a lot of us want from an FPS. There's a lot of action, decent weapon variability, and enough of a story that you want to know what happens next to the characters. I'll let you know right from the get-go, this game's an 8 out of 10 in my opinion. With the holidays in full swing, and working in an elementary school, I've got 2 weeks off from work. So obviously I'm not going to go through my backlog, I'm going to go out and find even more games to add to it, like every other aging millennial out there. So believe me when I say my wallet felt good about the fact that this game was dropped in a Game Pass on day one. It is available through Cloud Play as well, but in a future video I'll talk about why I'm not a fan of playing that way. I got to the Rick and Morty train really late, I only started watching this past summer, and I missed all of the controversies that were involved with folks protesting outside of McDonald's and whatnot. However, I will say that this takes the hilarity and thoroughness of that franchise, and delivers exactly what you want from a game by the same creator. While the premise is simple and not groundbreaking by any means, you can tell that they put time into the story and characters. There's you, the silent protagonist, your sibling, Lizzie, who's essentially Summer from Rick and Morty. There's Gene, the bounty hunter, who is helping you, and I use those terms loosely. And there's the G3, its goons and bosses. All these characters hit home and are pretty funny. But of course, your companions really steal the show. The weapons are sentient aliens known as Gatlians, and your first one, Kenny, is basically a stand-in for Morty. His dialogue is good, he does all the talking for you with NPCs, and is honestly a great weapon.
Hey, kid, excuse me, can we get we need to make our way into the slums, please?
Think of the pistol from Halo, but with less recoil. The others like Gus, Sneezy, Creature, that you have throughout most of the game are great too, each with their own ammo type and special abilities. Now, being from Squanch Games, of course they named the place where your special shot comes out of something ridiculous, the Trick Hole. Kenny has the glob shot, which is basically green goo blobs that not only bounce enemies up allowing you to juggle them with bullets, but also serves as a traversal mechanism on platforms that need to be flipped or rotated. Squeezy's been compared to the Needler from Halo, and her trick shot is stopping time in a bubble, literally. You can shoot your trick shot, it slows enemies down, and then you can pump the bubble full of her regular ammo, which then explodes, dealing more damage. I have to say I feel like Gus, the shotgun, is a little disappointing. Even in close combat, I didn't feel like he did enough damage for his ammo type, although using his trick shot to both climb and as a bullet-turned melee weapon was a lot of fun. In the later levels, Creature and his ammo/children are really helpful, especially once you equip the mod that has the ammo babies bring you back health from enemies they've destroyed. Like we said, being from Squanch Games, the story is what you'd expect in terms of raunchy and irreverent humor, especially this one scene with this NPC.
I'm interested.
I know it's gross, but calm down. My name is Stan, and I sell horrendous amounts of all sorts of alien cum, and we're just gonna have to live with that knowledge together now.
Yeah, I don't really need to go any further than that, just know that it's there. I will say though that the dialogue is well written despite all of this. The Gatlians never got annoying. I always think of that scene when I think it's Beth who meets Squanchy in Rick and Morty and says, wow, you use the word squanch a lot in your language. It's never that annoying. Without spoiling anything, you also do get to see the Gatlian show more personality than just being your sidekick, most notably at Space Applebee's, which is definitely a thing in this game. Being colorblind and slow to process audio dialogue, I am a huge fan of accessibility. Recently, I bought an Xbox Adaptive Controller. But something that surprised me is, at least on the Xbox Series X version, I didn't see much accessibility options in the menus. Don't let that deter you though, because the visual presentation of this game is amazing. The colors and the palettes they chose make it really easy to see every little detail in the environment. The art style lends itself to any resolution you choose to play it at, and I'm playing on an LG 4K monitor that isn't even meant for gaming, and it looks pretty legit. I guess I've been spoiled in recent years with color filters for my color blindness, but believe me when I say you won't need it in this game. The downsides. A lot of folks out there have mentioned that technical hiccups and game-breaking bugs for progression have really held this game back. I haven't encountered any of the latter, but I did see a few issues with graphics and white screening. No real issues beyond a bit jarring while playing, but fortunately I wasn't in combat when they happened. I was on the lookout for them the entire playthrough, and I only saw it happen twice, so while I respect what a lot of folks have experienced, I was fortunate that it didn't happen much to me. Honestly, that's really the only drawback. The game is a little short, but I feel like it might overstay its welcome if it was much longer. A lot of people probably wanted a multiplayer, which this game does not have, and I think it could have been pretty fun to maybe be different cartels or even different competing bounty hunters facing off, so hopefully in Squanch Games' next project they put something like that into effect. In case you couldn't tell, I really like this game. Any Rick and Morty fan is probably going to love it. It's just disconnected enough that you don't have to be a fan to keep up with the story, but you will enjoy the humor. If you've got Game Pass, it's a must-have, and honestly, I'd say it's worth full sticker price if you don't. Hope you get out there and stop the G3, and I'll see you next time.